Chernobyl Monsters, Myths and Realities. Hey everyone. Today, we're diving into a topic that's been buzzing around since that fateful day in 1986, the Chernobyl disaster. Many of us know about the catastrophic explosion and the eerie stillness of the exclusion zone. But have you ever heard the stories of the monsters that supposedly roam this wasteland? In this video, we'll unravel the myths and realities of these Chernobyl creatures, separating fact from fiction, and exploring how these stories have taken root in popular culture. Let's start with a quick recap of what happened at Chernobyl. On April 26, 1986, an explosion rocked the Chernobyl nuclear power plant in Ukraine, leading to one of the worst nuclear disasters in history. The immediate fallout was devastating. People lost their lives, and entire towns were abandoned. Pripyat, which was home to about 49,000 people, was essentially frozen in time. 30 years later, Chernobyl became a ghost town. But something surprising happened. Nature started to reclaim the land. So now we have this massive 30-kilometer exclusion zone where humans can't live, but wildlife has seen quite a resurgence. You wouldn't believe how quickly nature can bounce back in a place where people can't set foot. Now, let's chat about those pesky monsters. As Chernobyl became this eerie, deserted landscape, legends began to sprout like weeds. People started to share stories of strange, mutated creatures lurking in the shadows, and these tales sparked the imagination of many. From enormous, radiation-infused animals to ghostly figures, the range of creatures has only gotten more bizarre over the years. Plus, we can't ignore how pop culture played a role in whipping these stories into a frenzy. Movies, video games, and even books have capitalized on the creepy allure of Chernobyl. Take the game Stalker, for instance. It's set in an alternate universe where players must navigate through a post-apocalyptic Chernobyl, encountering all sorts of monstrous beings. It's a thrilling but terrifying ride. But while it's fun to imagine these dark and mysterious creatures, it's important to remind ourselves that these stories are often just that, stories. All right, let's shift gears. We've established that Chernobyl has its fair share of legends, but what about the real wildlife? Believe it or not, many animals have made a home in the exclusion zone. You might spot a wild boar, wolves, bears, and even lynxes. These animals have adapted to life in a place riddled with radiation, and numerous studies have shown that their populations are quite healthy. Interestingly, some scientists believe these creatures exhibit unique adaptations because of the radiation levels. It's a testament to the resilience of life. However, it's worth mentioning that while radiation can cause mutations, not every creature wandering the exclusion zone is some kind of horrifying monster. Many are just regular animals trying to survive in a land that's become eerily quiet. Speaking of scientists, let's talk about those brave researchers who venture into this mysterious zone. Over the years, they've conducted various studies to understand how radiation affects the environment and its inhabitants. Their findings are essential in understanding not just Chernobyl, but also nuclear energy's impacts on our world. But here's where it gets interesting. The monster stories don't hold much water when you look at the solid research. For every tale of a three-eyed creature, there's a study proving that most wildlife in Chernobyl is thriving and adapting rather than mutating into horror movie villains. The scientific community emphasizes the importance of separating these urban legends from the truth, encouraging a balanced view of Chernobyl's lasting legacy. So what have we learned today? Chernobyl is often framed as a site of horror and superstition, where monsters stalk the crumbling remains of civilization. Yet the reality is far more complex and surprisingly hopeful. We've seen nature bounce back and thrive in a place long deemed lifeless, and we've learned that the monsters of Chernobyl are mostly products of fiction. As we wrap things up, I encourage you to explore more about environmental science and conservation. After all, Chernobyl serves as a chilling reminder of our impact on the planet and the resilience of life itself. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the myths and realities of Chernobyl's monsters, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more cool content. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you in the next one.